Hi everyone. So welcome to this special webinar, and this is for the launch of our new coffee, the DXN Civattino Coffee. If you look at the coffee plant, we see that there is first the flowers that turn into green beans, and then these flowers ripen and they turn red, and that's the time they're ready for consumption. Now, usually we collect the beans and then we roast it and make the normal coffee. But here's the secret for the most expensive coffee in the world. The civet cat, a special cat found in the South Asian continent, they are said to be the choosy pickers of the best cherry beans. They pick up the best beans, and after they are consumed, this cat's digestive system breaks down the coffee sugars and the amino acids, and these beans are then defecated out after 24 hours. Now, after washing, drying, this becomes one of the best beans to make coffee with. That's the civet cat coffee. Here's the picture of a civet cat. Okay, this is native to South and Southeast Asia, and that's how the defecation of the coffee beans of the civet cat looks like. So this is what is collected from the wild, washed, cleaned, processed, which makes the most expensive coffee in the world, called Kopi Luwak. Now let's study a little about the history of the civet coffee. It said that in the early 1700s, the civet coffee was discovered by the Indonesian farmers when they were working on the Dutch coffee plantations. Since coffee was a prized produce, the Indonesian farmers were not allowed to pick the coffee for their own use. But the coffee beans were so tempting that these farmers then found another way to pick the coffee beans. They found that the civets that fed on these coffee beans actually excreted the whole bean out. So they started collecting that. And since that was a disgusting thing, the Dutch people did not mind that. So these beans were then cleaned, roasted, and brewed into a cup of delicious drink, which they call it the civet coffee. Now, after you get these coffee beans brewed to get an amazing, delicious drink, the farmers found out that this was had an amazing taste and aroma. Suddenly, the demand among the farmers for this coffee started to go high. The Dutch, who observed this, they also now were interested in this particular coffee. Since the beans were fermented by the cat's intake, there definitely was a shortage of supply, and the demand was getting high. This made this particular type of coffee the most expensive coffee in the world. Now, the high demand of this coffee encouraged the producers to capture the civets from the wild, keeping them in cruel and inhuman conditions to increase the yield of the beans. What was a natural process suddenly became a process of production. These cats were now living in a terrible condition. They were in prisons and captivated, given only berries as fruit, and actually were dying within in the prisons. So what's the solution, and where do you get your cup of civet coffee? The best one is to see if you could source a wild civet coffee, especially from the locals who actually gather it from a cage-free civet animals. So if you can get that, that's the best option. The second option is to select coffee without the civets. Today, our understanding and knowledge of fermentation has improved so much that we can actually produce the similar coffee without using the civet. So what happens if you choose a wild sourced civet coffee? You would definitely contribute in the saving of the wild civets, but you could also generate a small income to the people the rural communities who live on the excreted beans of the civets. But I'm sure you all understand, having a huge demand, it's not possible for us to only depend on a wild source civet coffee. So here we need a solution too. Having a civet coffee without the civets. And it's now possible to have a non-animal based civet coffee. Here the coffee beans are not ingested and expelled via civet. And here the product mimics the fine qualities of the civet coffee, especially in terms of its flavor and aroma. So here DXN introduces to all its members and possible prospects out in the world the first ever DXN Civet coffee without the civets. It's called in the Malay the kopi kisar or ground coffee. It's 100% fermented coffee beans, which are then roasted after fermentation to produce a mild flavor and smooth feel with a satisfying, deep, pleasant aroma. It's available in a rough powder form packed in a bottle. This semi-grinded powder form of coffee is very much important to get the best aroma and the flavor from the coffee. The dark black color of the coffee assures you that it is filled with its nutrient value. So why should somebody make this as a choice among other coffees? Well, now the reason we can choose this coffee is that because it's one of the most expensive coffees in the world, and DXN is offering it without any animal cruelty. So DXN Civattino Coffee is an alternative choice for coffee lovers. You'll find it's less in caffeine, especially when you compare it with the other instant coffee powder brands in the market. It's also less in calories compared to the amount per serving with other premixed coffee and soft drinks in the market. And we have kept it here without sugar or any creamer, just 100% pure fermented coffee beans. So how do you prepare this DXN Civattino coffee? The best way is to use the DXN espresso kettle. You need to pour around 400 milliliters of water into the kettle's fixed drum. Add 8 tablespoons, that's approximately 22 grams of DXN Civattino coffee into the ingredients funnel. Put back the filled funnel onto the fixed drum. Close the lid of the kettle and touch mode 2 button. Then you can enjoy the mild aroma and smooth taste of your coffee once you hear the beeping sound of the ready mode. But you would be wondering, is that the only way we can make the DXN Civattino coffee? No, we have another way too. In this graphical representation, you see how to make the DXN Civattino coffee. So point 1 says put 4 scoops, that's 11 grams of DXN Civattino coffee into a cup. Add 200 milliliters of hot water, that's around 70 degrees Celsius, into the cup. Leave the coffee soaked for 5 minutes in order to the leaching of the flavors. These 5 minutes are very crucial because these help the flavors and aroma to be released from the locked coffee beans. After 5 minutes, you can filter it and it's ready to be served. However, DXN has not added any sugar or dairy creamer into it. People have the choice to add sugar or milk powder as they desire. So for the ones who have actually tried this Civet coffee, you'll realize that the flavor of this coffee is very, very similar to the original civet coffee. This is because of the unique fermentation process with yeast that we were able to achieve this civet coffee. So an ideal choice for people from all walks of life. We all know coffee itself is a healer. It's rich in antioxidants. It relaxes you, acts as a stress buster. It also stimulates your nervous system, also your metabolism. It's very good for your teeth and oral care. It's got enough fatty acids that can help the whole alimentary canal. So coffee basically is an amazing beverage to be had every day. So I have a small video I'll share you with about the benefits of this coffee, the civet coffee. Okay. Okay, so it protects your teeth and keeps it clean.
A udržiava ich čisté.
It helps you reduce the risk of skin cancer up to 17%. It can also help in decreasing the risk of diabetes. It helps to boost metabolism and aid in digestion. So for all those people who want to lose those extra pounds and kilos,
Takže
here
pre
we have
všetkých,
100% fermented coffee. Coffee is fantastic, especially after your workout. It can reduce muscle pain and even inflammation by 48%. 6.
Šieste.
Coffee can help prevent neurological diseases. So here we have an amazing coffee. So for all those people who are on their 2-in-1s and 3-in-1s or cream coffee, I think from tomorrow we launch the DXN Civattino Coffee, and you should grab your bottle first and to try to experience the taste of one of the most expensive coffees in the world. And you can do that, Susanna, with a smile, because this coffee is a cruelty-free coffee. I think this is one of the most awaited products of DXN, and this will really help the networkers as well as the consumers to experience something different about DXN. So thank you so much for your time. Bye-bye. Thank you.